Hey dumplings, it's Dave Decide. Today we have a few interesting things I want to get into. We have spoken about Jimin's tattoos and the new ones that we have seen, and I wanted to get into a quote-unquote non-binary tattoo and what people's reactions were. I also want to get into the show In The Soop and why people are saying condoms have appeared. So, hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, T-spelling back merch, and let's get into it. I want to talk about the claims of a condom, but before I get into that, I need to give context. If you're unaware, BTS loves doing reality TV shows. I mean, really enjoys filming them. And we as ARMYs really like to watch them. They recently temporarily canceled Run BTS, which is something that ARMYs like to trend every Tuesday because they miss it and hope that one of these Tuesdays it will be back. But it appears that they may halt the show for maybe another year or so, just a guess. But they recently did In The Soop Season 2. Both of those seasons are available on my Patreon, and I react to them with you, so if you're interested in joining me over there and watching it with me, check it out, link down below. But come back to this video. When the boys did the show, there was a lot of controversy even with the first season. If you don't know how the show works, basically it's as reality TV gets. The stuff we normally see on TV, like the Kardashians or whatever, it's all scripted to a certain extent. So even if it's not scripted where the people are reading line by line like a TV series, it's scripted in the way where the producers would feed lines to the people on the show to get a certain reaction, and then edited to make it into this dramatic, interesting reality show. Whereas in The Soop, it's none of that. It's very chill and very much the boys' normal day-to-day, as normal as BTS can get. People were upset because during the show, BTS kept calling the show a vacation or something very relaxing, but then people were upset that the cameras were being shoved into BTS's faces, i.e. that's not a vacation if they are being watched in their sleep or whatever. However, BTS has been very open about how much they love the show, and according to news sites and whatnot, the ratings for the first season wasn't amazing. I don't know why. I assume maybe because it's a show that is specifically made for ARMY and the general audience since it was aired on TV, and they didn't get it. But I bring this up because it wasn't the incentive of the ratings that made HYBE or BTS members want to do a second season, but they did it because they liked it, and I think it was Jungkook that talked about how it made them feel relaxed and they wanted to do a third season, which yes please. So the controversy of the members being watched isn't something that bothered them, and if they didn't like it, they could simply not do it, and they really didn't have to do a second season. The other more quote-unquote weird things that were seen apparently in season 1 in episode 7, there was some people that were saying that they might have seen condoms on the table in RM's room. And of course this is interesting because it also added to one of the reasons people believe BTS shouldn't be filmed all the time and why they need privacy. However, in The Soop, likely I would say no less than 20 people working on the show, from maybe around 10 or so on set and maybe a few more that edit the clips. And of course people who sit and watch it over to make sure everything is good. If it was condoms, they definitely would blur that out, and I doubt they would miss something like that. What I am seeing on the table is bug spray, plugs, and what appears to be condoms for some people. Looks like cologne bottles, as condoms don't appear like that, I don't think. It's a pretty big thing to miss, so I don't think the staff missed it. Given how strict K-pop is and how important their image is, stuff like this, it doesn't slide. It wouldn't make it through. Also, this was the first season, so the second season didn't air on daytime TV, I don't think, but the first season did, so there's no way a box of condoms would have made it to air. I am loving the moments we are seeing lately. I feel like the boys are happier now, and I think this is a result of you guys all speaking up, making it clear that we don't care what the boys are, that we support no matter what, and in my opinion, there just isn't enough content that speaks the opposite of what everyone else is saying. Everyone just kind of goes along with this really outdated mindset that idols can't date, be gay, or whatever it is. Jimin was seen recently with some new tattoos. I have spoken about this, but I do want to get into more detail here. He has a new tattoo that we hadn't seen before on back of his ear. This tattoo says youth, but also when looked at differently, it can also say growth. BTS loves doing this type of stuff. They've done this concept on their album in the past. They have words look a certain way, but then it's flipped, it's a different word. This is a powerful thing to do. It's a great way to get two messages, oftentimes opposite words, to be tatted, and the meaning of those words then change, as obviously youth and growth are almost opposites. So initially, a lot of people, including myself, thought that Jimin had a tattoo on his body, like the opposite of the Nevermind tattoo. But it seemed like maybe it was just the Nevermind tattoo, or the image was flipped, because in other instances, we don't see another tattoo on his body. But it was confirmation that the Nevermind tattoo does exist and that it is real, since for the longest time, we didn't know whether it was real or not. Other tattoos that we have seen previously are the 13 tattoo, the Forever tattoo, the Young tattoo, and of course, the brand new one that we hadn't seen before, which is the Crescent Moon tattoo. There were theories as to what these tattoos mean, green, as it is supposed to represent more feminine energy and growth. It seems like a lot of his tattoos represent this idea of growth and being young. Perhaps he feels he is more mature now. There are people who thought this tattoo of the moon was supposed to represent that Jimin was non-binary or gay. But I think it's interesting to tag the meaning of feminine with this idea that a man must be gay if he's feminine, or that he no longer wants to be called he. As far as I know, Jimin hasn't said anything like that or requested that. But let's be real. Even if he did, there's probably people in Korea who may not understand this concept of gender norms over there, or being non-binary for the term to even mean anything over there. This is not a negative thing, but in a lot of Asian culture, there's just a lot of emphasis on gender, and things will make a lot less sense, especially language-wise, without a gender. A lot of fans did not like the tattoo. Those are definitely less, but there's still a lot of people who would prefer if the members and Jimin too did not have any tattoos. And as for those people, I can understand the perspective, but of course, you can't project your own opinions onto others and expect them to adopt them. Even if you don't like something that the boys do, as long as they're doing it to themselves, you can't force them to not do it. That was their choice. And if it bothers you that much, then move on. But it will be difficult to find someone to stand that fits your ideology perfectly, because humans are flawed, and yes, they're human. I also believe the members' stance on tattoos has changed significantly since way back, and obviously have changed with the times. Back when Jungkook was younger, I believe he was 16 at the time, BTS did a show with Mnet, and they were poolside talking, and Jungkook mentioned how he wanted to grow up and be able to drink with the members because all the other members could drink, and he would be the only one not able to when they go out. This may not make sense to you if you're in America, but the drinking age in Korea is 19. But then Jungkook continued the interview to talk about how he wants tattoos on his body when he becomes an adult. Suga heard this and went over to talk about how Jungkook was talking nonsense, and that the fans would be so disappointed if Jungkook decided to get a tattoo. I'm assuming this mindset had changed, and I think for the most part, when the members look online, they'd be able to see that not only do most people get really excited about the idea of the members getting tattoos, it makes huge headlines and people fangirl over it. Now, in Korea, the rules around tattoos are strange. It is still considered taboo, but it's not illegal, and it's more considered a medical procedure. It's definitely a bigger deal, and I think the rules around who can get it are more rigid, but I don't know. This all goes into how likely the members felt about tattoos back then. I don't think they think this way now. Since a couple of them have a lot of tattoos, I just don't think they would allow each other to get tattoos if it was that bad. Of course, we have seen the progression of their thoughts on this, and we have also seen armies who were initially against this idea, but then seeing Jungkook with them or Jimin with them, realizing that it's actually hot and that they don't like tattoos. I wouldn't be surprised if BTS did encourage some other people to get really beautiful tattoos too. And while Jungkook loves to get big tattoos and cover his body with them, we have Jimin who gets a lot more smaller tattoos. It's just very sparse. I love Jungkook's full sleeve tattoo. First of all, I love sleeve tattoos in general. Anyone who has one, you are hot beyond my words, and I drool over you. But I don't think it'll look good on me, and I would prefer to get more of Jimin's tattoo style. Do you have any tattoos? Let me know, looking for ideas. Let me know what you think, and make sure to check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.